Every single country on Earth is in debt. To who? Aliens? Monopoly Man? Jeff Bezos with a big notepad? Nope. It's even weirder than that. Hey, this is Coinrad, and today we're breaking down the world's biggest IOU. Why countries have debt, why they stay in debt, and why it might actually be on purpose. So here's the bizarre reality. The US owes $36 trillion. Japan, more than 230% of its economy. Greece borrowed so much it almost sank the entire Eurozone. And yet, they all keep borrowing more. Now, if you or I tried that, Visa would laugh in our faces. But countries? They get to run entire economies on what's basically a never-ending tab. And the wildest part? They don't even plan to pay it back. So how does that work? Who's lending them the money? And why hasn't the whole thing blown up already? Let's dig in. First, let's clear this up. National debt isn't like your student loans. It's more like your country's credit score with extra steps. Governments collect taxes. They spend on stuff. But when spending is bigger than taxes, they borrow the difference. How? By selling bonds, which are just fancy IOUs. Investors buy them, expecting to get paid back with a little interest. Those investors can be banks, pension funds, foreign governments, basically anyone who trusts that your country won't vanish tomorrow. It's like your neighbor borrowing sugar, except instead of a cup, it's trillions of dollars. And instead of cookies later, you get a promise and some interest checks. Delicious. Here's the kicker. Even rich countries that could pay off debt don't. But why? Because debt is politically addictive. Politicians love spending money on roads, schools, tax cuts, wars, social programs, raising taxes, total voter suicide. Borrowing? Way easier. And then there's emergencies. World War II? America borrowed like crazy. COVID? Every country opened the money floodgates. Debt is the emergency credit card. And once you've swiped it, good luck cutting it up. And let's not forget the psychology. Voters like free stuff. Politicians like re-election. Balanced budgets are boring. Debt, meanwhile, feels invisible. Until it's not. Okay, but why not just pay it off? Here's the secret. They don't. Countries roll over their debt forever. Old bonds mature. New bonds replace them. It's like refinancing your mortgage every year and never touching the principal. Then there's the interest monster. The US now spends over $1 trillion a year just on interest. That's more than the defense budget. Imagine working full-time just to pay your credit card bill. That's America. But here's the psychology twist. Giant numbers stop scaring people. $1 billion sounds scary. $1 trillion? Too big to process. Add another zero, who cares? It's like calorie counts at Cheesecake Factory. Once you see 3,000, the extra fries don't matter. Let's go around the world real quick. Japan, king of debt, over 230% of GDP. But investors shrug because most of it's owed to the Japanese themselves. United States, $36 trillion and climbing, about 120% of GDP. Still considered safe because the US dollar is basically the world's reserve cheat code. Greece, 200% of GDP during its crisis. Investors panicked, bailouts happened, protests in the streets. Ouzo was spilled. Argentina, serial defaulter. It's like that friend who keeps forgetting their Venmo password. Nobody trusts them anymore. Here's the weird takeaway. It's not how much you owe, it's whether people believe you'll pay them back, eventually. Debt isn't math, it's confidence. And confidence is fragile. This is where economists fight at conferences. Some say, debt doesn't matter. If you control your own money printer, you can never go broke. This is the modern monetary theory crowd. Basically, relax bro, just print it. But history is less chill. Too much debt can spook investors. Interest rates climb. Your currency tanks. Suddenly, borrowing gets harder. And boom, crisis. Ask Argentina, Venezuela, or Weimar Germany. So does debt matter? Yes, but not in the way you think. It's not about the number. It's about psychology. As long as people trust you, you can stack debt like Jenga. But the moment confidence cracks, the tower falls fast. So why do countries have debt? Because it's easy, it's useful, and it keeps the political machine humming. Why do they stay in debt? Because once you start, you can't really stop. And maybe the scariest truth? Countries don't want to. This is Coinrad. Hit subscribe and stick around for more stories about money, markets, and the madness they create.